What's good, family? Welcome back to Chronic. Today, we starting part one of our three-part breakdown of Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 1. And if you've been hearing people talk about this show like it's just Godzilla content, I need you to understand something right now. This is not a show where monsters are fighting every 5 minutes like it's tight in UFC. This show is a slow burn mystery, a family drama, a conspiracy thriller. Who is lying? Why are they lying? And how long have they been lying? Type situation. The monsters are the atmosphere. The monsters are the pressure. They are the reminder that humans are not in control. They are the hurricane that keeps passing over the same city while everyone argues about who left the door open. So if you're here for the breakdown, you're in the right place. And if you rock with the chronic style, do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with somebody who loves the monster verse. That one click really helps the channel grow. It tells YouTube we not just whispering into the void. It's free, it's quick, and it helps me keep cooking. Now, let's talk about what Monarch is actually doing with this season, because the show is slick. It's not just telling one story, it's running two timelines like a con artist running two phones. One timeline is modern, set after the 2014 Godzilla incident. The other timeline is in the 1950s and 60s when Monarch is basically being created in real time. And the show's whole point is to make you realize that Monarch didn't become secretive by accident. Monarch was born secretive. Secrecy is not their behavior, secrecy is their culture, it's the family recipe, it's the seasoning. They don't even think they're lying. They think they're managing information. They think they're protecting people. But in practice, it's like they're protecting the public from the truth, because the truth would expose that Monarch is basically winging it. And when you mix winging it with giant monsters, the bill always comes due. Part one is mainly episodes 1 through 3. This is the setup. This is where we meet the modern cast, we meet the past cast, we see the first dominoes fall, and we learn one very important thing. Everybody is lying. Everybody is hiding something. Everybody is playing defense. And the person with the biggest secret is always the one who's missing. So let's start with episode 1 and the character that carries the modern timeline, Cate. Cate is introduced as someone who survived the 2014 disaster. And the show doesn't treat that like a cool badge, it treats it like a scar. Cate is walking around like someone who made it out of a building collapse, but mentally she's still hearing the metal bend and the glass break. She's not just sad, she's not just stressed, she's disconnected, she's snappy, she's numb. She's the kind of person who looks calm until you realize calm is the mask. And the show does something smart here. It puts the trauma in the background of everything she does. It's not just one scene where she cries and moves on. It's a consistent weight, like she's carrying a backpack full of bricks and trying to act like it's a purse. Then we meet her father, Hiroshi. And let me tell you something about TV dads. If a TV dad shows up calm, smiling, and acting like everything is fine, that man is hiding at least 3 crimes and one whole second family. And guess what? Hiroshi is exactly that vibe. He shows up like he's trying to be present, but he's also distant. Like he's already halfway out the door. Like he's checking the room for exits. Like he's thinking about something that has nothing to do with his daughter. Then he disappears. And the disappearance is staged like a death. Alaska, plane incident. Everybody assumes he's gone. And Cate is forced into that kind of grief where you don't even get closure. It's not a funeral with certainty. It's a we think and a probably. It's the worst kind because your brain doesn't know whether to accept it or resist it. So Cate goes to Tokyo to deal with his affairs. This is where the show turns the knife, because Cate doesn't just find evidence that her dad had secrets. She finds evidence that her dad had a whole other life, a whole other family. This is not a dad had a secret hobby. This is not dad had a second job. This is dad had a whole second household, like he was running two different seasons of his life at the same time. And Kate finds out she has a half brother, Kentaro. Now, this part right here is one of the most human parts of the show because monsters aside, the betrayal is personal. Kate is not just processing her dad being missing, she's processing the reality that she did not know the man she loved. She's processing the embarrassment, the anger, the confusion, the feeling of being replaced. And then she's forced to confront a sibling who didn't ask for this either. Kentaro is introduced as this calm, controlled, slightly guarded dude. He's not overly dramatic. He doesn't go, wow, surprise, sister. Like this is a sitcom. He's careful, he's reserved, he's been living near the edge of this secret for a while, even if he didn't know the full shape of it. And what makes Kentaro interesting is how normal he wants to be. He wants to live a normal, creative life. He wants peace. But his family name keeps dragging him back into this monarch mess, like the universe is allergic to letting him relax. Then we get May. May is Kentaro's ex. May is the tech person. And we all know what tech person means in a mystery show. It means one of two things. Either they are the key to everything or they are hiding the most. May has that energy like she can unlock any door but won't unlock her own backstory. She's helpful, but she's also slippery. She's the type of person who answers a question with another question, then acts confused when you ask again. And the moment May starts digging into Hiroshi's files, you feel the surveillance come down like a ceiling because Monarch notices. Now we get introduced to a Monarch rep in the modern timeline, Tim. Tim is not a mustache twirling villain. Tim is a corporate soldier. He's polite, he's calm, he uses the soft voice, but the soft voice is what makes him dangerous because soft voice people don't raise their tone, they raise consequence. Tim is the type to say no problem while setting your life on fire with paperwork. He's the type to smile and still be the reason you can't board a plane the next day. The show uses Tim to represent the modern Monarch machine. Monarch is not just a research group. Monarch is an institution with authority, secrets, and the ability to isolate people. When Tim enters the story, it's the show telling you that this is bigger than one missing father. This is bigger than family drama. This is a whole system. Episode 1 ends with the tension fully established. Cate and Kentaro have found a secret world. May has unlocked doors that shouldn't be opened. Monarch has noticed. And Hiroshi's disappearance now looks less like an accident and more like a move. And then the show flips us into the past timeline, which is where the real foundation gets built. The past timeline introduces Bill Randa, Keiko Muir, and Lee Shaw. Bill Randa is the curiosity personified. He's the type of guy who sees danger and says, interesting. He's the type of guy who should not be allowed near sharp objects or mysterious caves without supervision. But he is also the one willing to say what no one else says out loud, that there are things in the world bigger than us and the government is lying about it. Keiko is the scientist. She's the one who understands the data and the implications. She's also the one who sees through the nonsense. She doesn't get impressed by rank. She doesn't get intimidated easily. She's the kind of person who can stand in a room full of men with titles and still be the one in control because she's actually competent. Then Lee Shaw, military man, calm, capable, quiet intensity. And here's the thing about Shaw. Shaw has that I can survive anything vibe, but he also has that I'm being used and I know it vibe. Shaw is the kind of character that doesn't just exist for action. He exists to show you what happens when the system takes a good soldier and turns him into a tool. The past storyline is basically Monarch's origin story, but it's not a cute origin story. It's not, we built Monarch to save the world. It's, we built Monarch because we discovered something terrifying and we needed a place to hide the truth. And that's the key. Monarch is born out of fear, not heroism. This is where the show starts layering its theme. The theme is legacy, not just family legacy, but institutional legacy. The choices made in the past don't disappear. They echo, they become tradition, they become policy, they become the reason modern monarch behaves like it does. So when you watch the modern timeline and you think, why are they so secretive? The show is basically saying because they've been secretive since day one. Episode two keeps building that pressure. In the modern timeline, Cate and Kentaro are now reluctantly teamed up. And the thing that makes them compelling is that they aren't bonding like best friends. They're bonding like two people trapped in the same problem. Their relationship isn't cute, it's complicated. There's resentment, there's confusion. There's also a strange loyalty forming because at the end of the day, they share blood, and blood tends to pull people together when the world starts collapsing around them. Cate is mad at Hiroshi, but Cate is also craving answers. She's chasing him and hating him at the same time. That is one of the most realistic emotional combos ever. You can love someone and want to slap them. You can miss someone and want to scream at them. Cate is basically living inside that contradiction. Kentaro is processing his own version of betrayal. He's realizing his father might not have been the man he thought. And that's a specific kind of grief. It's not he died, it's he existed, but I didn't know him. That kind of grief makes you question your memories. It makes you question your identity. It makes you wonder if you were ever really safe. May is the wild card. She's helpful, but she's also the type where every time she helps, you feel like she's setting up a second plan. And what the show does well is it makes you suspicious of her without making her cartoonish. She's not cackling, she's just guarded. And guarded people usually have a reason. Tim and Monarch keep applying pressure. And it's subtle at first. It's not like Monarch kicks down doors immediately. It's more like Monarch appears in your life and suddenly you realize you're being watched. Your choices shrink, your options close, your freedom becomes conditional. This is also where the show starts establishing that Monarch is not a single person. It's not one villain, it's a structure. People like Tim aren't making the decisions alone. They're following a playbook, and the playbook is containment. Contain the information, contain the witnesses, contain the narrative. The show is basically asking you what's more dangerous, the monster that destroys a city or the institution that decides who is allowed to know why the city got destroyed. In the past timeline, we see Randa and Keiko digging deeper into evidence that something is out there. Shaw gets pulled further into this world too. And the past scenes carry a different vibe. They feel like a time when everything is being discovered for the first time. There's awe, there's fear, there's ambition. They don't fully understand the scale of what they're dealing with yet. And that's what makes it tragic because the audience knows what's coming. We know the world is going to keep having Titan incidents. We know Monarch is going to keep hiding the truth. So watching the origin is like watching someone lay tracks for a train they don't realize will eventually run over people. Episode 3 is when the emotional and mystery engines both speed up. In the modern timeline, Cate and Kentaro's hunt becomes more focused. They're not just flipping through random clues, they're following a path. And it starts to feel like Hiroshi left the path on purpose. That's the part that makes him scary, honestly. Because if Hiroshi left breadcrumbs, then he wasn't just hiding, he was planning. He was anticipating that his kids would follow him, which means he either wanted them to find something, or he wanted to test them, or he was trapped, and this was his only way to communicate. And that's where the show gets addictive because you start asking, is Hiroshi the victim or is Hiroshi the architect? Cate is spiraling emotionally, and the show doesn't sanitize her. It doesn't make her perfectly heroic. She's messy. She snaps at people. She makes reckless choices. She has moments where she looks like she's about to break. And that feels real because trauma doesn't make you noble. Trauma makes you unpredictable. Kentaro is trying to keep a level head, but you can see his patience thinning. And this is important because Kentaro represents the audience's desire for stability. He wants to understand what's happening without falling apart. But the deeper they go, the more you realize stability is not available. May's secrets start to feel louder, even when she's not saying anything, she's saying something. The way she avoids certain questions, the way she redirects, the way she goes quiet when Monarch is mentioned, the way she seems to know what systems can do to people. Monarch, through Tim and their other operations, continues to tighten the circle around them. And what makes Monarch terrifying is that they don't have to be violent to be effective. They can control access, they can control information, they can control who gets believed and who gets labeled crazy. They can make you feel isolated. It's like fighting fog. You can't punch fog, you can't threaten fog, you can't reason with fog. You just get lost in it. In the past timeline, the story keeps building the bond between Randa, Keiko, and Shaw. You see their trust forming. You see the mission getting deeper. You see how Monarch is starting to become a real entity instead of just an idea. And you also see the government influence creeping in like a shadow. This is where the show quietly teaches you something about institutions. Institutions don't start evil, they start practical. They start with, we need to handle this. Then they become addicted to control, and control becomes the identity. Then anyone who threatens control becomes the enemy. So by the time you get to modern Monarch, you're not surprised they act like this. You're just frustrated, like the characters are. Part one ends with the main ingredients fully loaded: a missing father who lived a double life, a daughter who survived a catastrophe and is now unraveling, a son who is caught between normal life and inherited chaos, a third teammate who is useful but suspicious, a secret organization that sees truth as a threat, and a past timeline showing you exactly how the machine got built. This is the point where you, as a viewer, should be feeling two things at the same time. One, curiosity. You want to know where Hiroshi is, what he was doing, and what Monarch is hiding. Two, dread. Because you know that the answers are probably going to hurt. In this franchise, the truth never comes with peace. The truth comes with consequences. And here's what I really like about part one: it doesn't rush, it doesn't act like the audience is stupid. It lets the mystery breathe, it lets the relationships form naturally, it lets the tension build through surveillance, secrecy, and emotional fracture. And when the show does show monster scale elements, it uses them like punctuation, like a reminder, like a, by the way, everything you're doing right now is happening in a world where a Titan can rise and end your whole storyline. Now, let's talk real quick about what Monarch is doing as a narrative trick, because this is important for how you watch the rest of the season. The show makes you think you're chasing monsters, but you're actually chasing decisions. The monsters are not the mystery. The mystery is how humans responded to monsters. The mystery is how Monarch got built on fear and secrecy. The mystery is what Monarch did to protect itself. The mystery is what people like Hiroshi sacrificed to stay inside that machine. And the family angle isn't just emotional decoration, it's structural. Because family legacy mirrors institutional legacy. Secrets passed down, trauma passed down, silence passed down. Cate inherits pain, Kentaro inherits questions. And Monarch inherits his own bad habits from the 1950s. And so when you're watching part one, you're basically watching two origin stories: Cate and Kentaro's origin story as a team, and Monarch's origin story as an institution. And the reason those two stories matter is because eventually they collide. And when they collide, somebody gets crushed. Now, let me hit you with a quick reality check about the vibe of Monarch as a show, because I know some people complain like it's not enough Godzilla. This show is built like a suspense thriller, not a monster brawl. The suspense is in the unseen. The suspense is in the file folders. The suspense is in the phone calls. The suspense is in the quiet moments where someone realizes they're being watched. And honestly, that makes the monster moments hit harder when they do show up because the monsters feel like forces of nature, not characters auditioning for screen time. If you want action every 10 seconds, that's a different show. But if you want a monster verse story that treats titans like disasters and humans like fragile little planners trying to control the uncontrollable, Monarch does that pretty well. Now, before we wrap part one, let's set up what part two is going to be about without spoiling the whole thing. Part two is where the timelines start talking to each other. Part two is where the past stops being interesting lore and becomes a key. Part two is where Monarch stops feeling like a secret organization and starts feeling like a machine that has rules and you are not allowed to break them. Part two is where choices start costing people something, not just emotionally, literally. So if you want part two, do what I asked earlier, like the video, subscribe to the channel and share it with somebody who watches Monarch or anything Monsterverse. Sharing is the cheat code because it brings in new eyes and new eyes bring momentum. And I want you to comment something simple so I know you're locked in. Do you trust Tim? Yes or no? And that's it. No essay, just yes or no. Because Tim is the kind of dude who looks like he helped you carry groceries and then report you to Monarch for carrying the wrong groceries. And if you don't trust him, I need to know why. If you do trust him, I also need to know why because I'm trying to see something. All right, that's part one. We've got the setup. We've got the double life. We've got the secret files. We've got Monarch watching from the shadows. We've got the past crew building the blueprint. And we've got a missing father who is either in danger or is the danger. Part two coming next.